Honestly, couldn't be any more grateful for my past and what I went through to be where I'm at today. I was born and raised in El Paso, Texas, but I'd love to say that I was made in Miami. Growing up, I wasn't the best son or the best friend or the best family member. I couldn't be trusted. I was always getting into trouble, going out, getting drunk with my friends, and just had nothing going for me. My family was fed up with me. My mom ended up selling her home just to get me out of the house. And I ended up moving to Miami with my cousin. We worked at an MLM company, like an Herbalife style company. And it was good when we first started off, but it wasn't stable enough. I started working at the clubs and I would go to the beach every single day on a bus. That would take me 2 hours to get there. And I would just walk up and down all day, all night, talking to people, asking them if they wanted to get into the clubs. I would tell myself that I couldn't eat until I made at least $100 for the day. And there was this little restaurant on Collins Ave that I would get a Cuban coffee and a little pastry called a croqueta. They're really good. I had an ex-girlfriend that had followed me to Miami from El Paso, and I ended up going back to her and living with her, and it ended up getting physical. We got into a lot of trouble. I went to jail, she went to jail, and it just got very toxic. I was still very immature at the time, and I didn't know how to let go of her. And so every time she would reach out to me, I'd go back to her. Whenever we got into it, she would kick me out of the apartment, and I had nowhere to go. I basically slept in the streets or in a hotel or just stayed outside. I ended up finding a friend that was from back home that was living in Miami. Her name was Michelle, and she helped me out. She let me stay with her. She basically helped me get back on my feet, pushing me and motivating me because I wanted to give up. I wanted to go back home, but she didn't let me. I ended up going back to my ex one last time, and when I did, I ended up finding out that my friend Michelle had been murdered. That's pretty much when I decided that it was time for me to go back home and go back to my family. My family had moved to San Antonio. I went back to El Paso. I stayed with a few friends for a few days, and I got a message from my wife now, and she was basically offering me to help me out, that I could stay with her and her roommates. And I texted my wife that I would go with her. When I first got here to San Antonio, the first thing I did was get a bicycle. And I would ride up and down Culebra Road. I would stay up late at night on Craigslist looking for jobs, and I found this one at a dealership. It was a little mom and pops right off of Marbach Road and 410, Diamond Automotive. I had called them, and my good friend now, who was the finance manager at the time, Aldo, got on a call with me. I told him my story. I had just gotten here from Miami. I was very motivated, and I just needed a chance or an opportunity. I remember telling my wife when I got that job that it was time for me to take care of her. I was there for about 3 months, and my sister-in-law approached me and asked me if I wanted to work for a new home builder. So I took it. I ended up working there for a few weeks, maybe a month or so, and I decided that I loved it. I loved helping people out, and it was an inspiration or a blessing to me to be able to see these people fall in love with the homes that I would show them. So I decided that I wanted to do it full time, and I interviewed for Lennar Homes. I got the job. I was super excited when they called me and gave it to me. I remember taking my test before I actually started, and I had failed it. They make you do role plays and all, and I blanked out completely. But they still gave me a shot, which is pretty crazy. So within a year of starting that job, I did a full 180. I turned my life around completely. I went from being broke, my wife taking care of me, paying for my rent, everybody giving me handouts, to me now making 6 figures. Not only did I become a 6-figure earner, but I would have never thought that I'd be able to buy my first home, and I did. And I got my first car. I didn't have a car before, and it's just been a blessing. After 2.5 years of being in the new home industry, I wanted to take my talents to the next level. So I decided to become a real estate agent so I could be able to serve more people, to help more individuals hit their goals. To me, when I inspire others, it inspires me. The only difference between you and me is that I've been doing this. So if you just get started now, you just might get further than me.